Alright, are you ready for more discontinued fragrances? Man, lots of stuff is changing in the perfume world, and this latest video of mine is for the Guerlain L'Art et la Matière collection of fragrances, which is getting harder and harder to find in stores. The reason I discovered this is because I was getting really low on Spirituous Double Vanille, and I contacted my sales associate over at Neiman Marcus here in San Francisco, Colleen. She said it's really hard to get. There isn't much left. In fact, there's only 2 or 3 nationwide in the Neiman Marcus, stores that you can get. So I also called a couple of other stores to find out about it. Yes, a lot of them are being discontinued, and then I think what's going to happen, according to what I've found out from each person, is that they're going to be relaunched. Not sure which ones are going to be relaunched, but they're going to be relaunched in higher price points and larger bottles and more exclusively. Either way, today I'm discussing the Guerlain L'Art et la Matière fragrances that I first discovered around 2012 when I was just getting into reviewing fragrances. A collection that I really like. Not as hyped as some other Guerlain fragrances, but pretty solid releases. I'm going to talk to you about all coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. I didn't mention that there was also 4 new Guerlain fragrances that I'm discussing as well. I'm not sure which collection these 4 fragrances go in, but they were recently announced, and one of you messaged me and said, can you discuss this collection? And I decided to put it together in this video because I was planning this video, and then by the time I received that message, I was ready to shoot this video to air the next day. So all about Guerlain, new fragrances, discontinued fragrances. Before I get to the fragrances though, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you still haven't subscribed to the channel, please do click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So one of the latest releases from Guerlain's L'Art et la Matière collection was last year, the Iris Torrefie, this one right here. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but also this came up recently in my Dior Homme Parfum video that I launched a few days ago. Someone said, if you want an alternative for Dior Homme Parfum, this is it. And I agree. In fact, in my review for this last year, I mentioned it does remind me of Dior Homme Intense. Not Parfum as much, but kind of a combination of both. But this one is Iris, lipsticky iris with coffee, a little acidic coffee note. So this one actually is fairly available within the Neiman Marcus system and also available at the Neiman Marcus boutique in Las Vegas. In fact, the Neiman Marcus boutique in Las Vegas has only 4: Joy's Tuberose, Tonka Imperial, Iris Torrefie, and Cuir Beluga. Those are the only 4 they have available. I called them a couple times before I shot this video, and he says he doesn't know anything that's going on. He doesn't know what's going to be removed, what's going to be brought back. But the big news is that these might come back, but they're going to be coming back much exclusively, according to my sales associate Colleen over at Neiman Marcus. By the way, if you ever wanted to order any Guerlain fragrances, she's a great contact to have, Colleen Hovsepian at Neiman Marcus in San Francisco. She handles Guerlain, and I've bought many Guerlain fragrances from her. So if you're up to dealing with a live person over the phone, she's a great person to talk to see if she can track down any fragrances from the L'Art et la Matière collection for you. But from the Neiman Marcus database, I saw that Iris Torrefie and Angelique Noir are the only 2 that are showing up. So she's a good contact to have. But according to what I found out is, as I said, these will be redone. We don't know what's coming back. And they'll be coming back in multiple sizes, I hear, but much higher priced and much more exclusively, not going to be sold at all the different luxury department stores like Neiman Marcus, Saks. She did mention there might be 1 store in all of the country in addition to the Las Vegas boutique. But the thing is, the Las Vegas boutique didn't even know exactly what's going on with this collection. So sad to know. I've got several of their fragrances. Of course, Iris Torrefie is from last year. Pretty solid release. A little pricey, but good. The entire collection, I think, is pretty pricey. They retail for 75 ml, $260. Of course, Spirituous Double Vanille is the very first one. No, it's not the very first one. The very first fragrance in this collection I bought was Bois d'Harmonie. This is nowhere to be found currently. In addition to Spirituous Double Vanille, nowhere to be found. The Las Vegas boutique does not have Spirituous Double Vanille, which this one is that kind of boozy vanilla. Really, really delicious, kind of like cooking vanilla. I've cooked with cooking vanilla or baked with it, and I could smell how it transfers over to that. It smells fantastic. But the very first one I bought was this one, Bois d'Harmonie, but in a previous bottle that was decantable really early on back in 2013. This is the second bottle, and I've ended up with this pump sprayer, which I kind of cannot stand. It's the worst sprayer ever. And of course, what happened with this collection was they had the decantable bottle sprayers. They moved them over to this. So many people complained about these. Then they made the bottles like this. And now they're no longer. I mean, they're redoing them again, and it's going to be less available. Of course, I think they'll be available at like the Guerlain boutique in Paris. There's a few of them in Paris that you can go to. One on the Rue Saint-Honoré. If it's still there, I don't know what's happened since the pandemic broke out. And then there's one on Champs-Élysées. This is what I was told by my sales associate here. They'll definitely be there. But I don't know where the one store that's going to have all this collection. Most likely New York City somewhere is going to have the entire collection. But that is until they're launched. Not sure when they're launching and not sure what's coming back. Is Spirituous Double Vanille coming back? I don't really know. Is Bois d'Harmonie coming back? I don't really know. One of the fragrances that I had fallen in love with, is this it right here? Yeah. One of the early fragrances that I had fallen in love with this from this collection is Angelique Noir. This one right here. And boy, this is such a beautiful vanillic fragrance with that kind of angelica note running throughout it. Kind of has an herbal green contrast against the kind of boozy vanilla. Very, very delicious. This one did pop up at Neiman Marcus, so you can contact Colleen. This was not available in the boutique at Las Vegas. But this is so good. It's a fragrance I fell in love with, but I ended up with Bois d'Harmonie. My second fragrance in this collection was Spirituous Double Vanille, but this one I ended up getting as well, and it smells fantastic. So another one that's really popular is Tonka Imperial, a great fragrance. It's probably the first Tonka dominant fragrance that I fell in love with, and then of course Feb Delicious came on the scene, and I immediately embraced that fragrance a lot more than this. But this is definitely a great nutty almondy Tonka fragrance. Finally, Cuir Beluga, and I don't know anything about this one. I bought this last summer during the Neiman Marcus discounts, the 25% off, I think it was. I took advantage of those when they had them, and I haven't even used it yet. Cuir Beluga sounded great. I thought, you know what, I'd get it. But now that I haven't used it, the Las Vegas boutique does have stock of this particular one. Again, the stock they have is Cuir Beluga, Iris Torrefie, Tonka Imperial, Joyeuse Tuberose. Tell me what this one's all about. I know it's a leather, but it sounds like it could be kind of a gourmand leather, most likely. See, it hasn't even been sprayed yet. Yeah, it definitely has the DNA of this collection of kind of boozy, vanillic, kind of delicious experiences. It's really lovely. First impressions here on camera. Although I have smelled that in passing years ago when I was first discovering this collection, but as owning a bottle, oh, it's really yummy. I'm getting like traces of kind of ganache, like white chocolate touches in there. Most likely it'll sell it to a leather. But yeah, powdery touches, and also very kind of milky, creamy, beautiful, kind of maybe even like light chocolate, milk chocolate, white chocolate, all that kind of stuff comes to mind. So that's Cuir Beluga. So sad that this collection is kind of up in the air as of now. Stocks are limited everywhere. If you guys are fans, definitely contact whatever store you deal with to see if they have any stock. But they're coming back, but we don't know which ones are coming back. So we shall see what happens in the future. But for now, very, very limited stock. And Spirituous Double Vanille, as I said, is probably one of the more popular ones. I couldn't find it at any stores. Neiman Marcus doesn't have it. I checked Saks website last week and they didn't have it. And then of course the Guerlain boutique doesn't have it as well. Very, very disappointing. But now on to the new fragrances that are launching. So Guerlain has 4 new fragrances launching, but I'm not 100% sure which collection these go in because they're in brand spanking new bottles. So I don't know what's going on. This is not the L'Art et la Matière collection. They don't seem as luxurious as the L'Art et la Matière collection. Plus they're not the same, so I don't know where they fit as a collection. Either way, the 4 fragrances seem interesting to me, and they're created in conjunction with a perfumer by the name of Delphine Jelk. A few of them are created just by her, and then a few of them are created along with Thierry Wasser of Guerlain, the in-house perfumer. When I first started looking at these fragrances, I only saw Delphine Jelk. I thought maybe Thierry Wasser is no longer, with all the stuff that's going on in the perfume world, things getting discontinued, perhaps perfumers are leaving, I don't know. But then I saw his name and I'm like, okay, he's still working on a few fragrances here. But they launched so much stuff, I'm sure he has to hire additional perfumers to work on other creations. But the first one I'm going to talk to you about is Santal Pao Rosa. So this one, to me, looking at the notes, reminds me of the sandalwood fragrance that they currently have, because it's another sandalwood and rose combo, so it immediately reminded me of that. But then again, when I look deeper, the notes are different than that. Kind of maybe reminds me of a little bit. So it has notes of cardamom, sandalwood, fig, hazelnuts, rose, oud, and myrrh. So fig comes in again here. Fig is in the patchouli ardent. Ardent? I'm having a bad memory right now, but it's the patchouli in the blue bottle has fig in the notes. It's a great dry rosy patchouli that it's pretty darn good. So that one has fig as well. So we shall see how this one turns out. But then I'm noticing that there's hazelnut here, and hazelnut is a very, very trendy note as of late. I'm seeing it pop up quite a bit. So we'll see how this one is. But let me know if you're excited about this. Does it excite you, this particular fragrance and this collection that I'm speaking about? The next fragrance that's coming out is Guerlain Rose Cherie. Once again, this is created by Delphine Jelk. And this features notes of almonds, damask rose water, damask rose absolute, rose centifolia, absolute, raspberry, and violets. This one seems like it's a rose overdose. So loads and loads of roses and all different varieties of rose that you can add to a fragrance, you know, from the damask type. So I think this is going to be a rose bomb, obviously, with all those different notes. It sounds intriguing. I'm curious to try it. I think Guerlain does a pretty good job with roses. I kind of associate Guerlain with more sweet vanillic fragrances, which is what I like. So I'm curious what they do with this particular fragrance. The next one seems like it's a more masculine leaning offering. This one's called Herbes Troublantes. This one is a co-creation between Thierry Wasser and Delphine Jelk. This has notes of Calabrian bergamot, orange blossom, thyme, mint, rosemary, and musk. So very aromatic, very spicy, very herbal, plus citruses, of course. And for me, this seems more like a I don't know what this collection is, so I can't really say what, I mean, as far as price point goes and all that kind of stuff. Is it going to be more of an exclusive collection? Is it like a signature line? So I can't tell, but to me this seems like a fragrance that goes in a signature line, more of like a masculine collection. But we shall see how it smells. It could completely go in a different direction, whether it features these notes or, you know, it doesn't, kind of a thing, you know? These notes can go in different directions, so we shall see. It sounds like it could be a great fragrance. It also sounds like it could be something a little more generic that should be in a signature line. And finally, the last fragrance that's coming on this collection is called Eau Secrete, the secret water. This one's also a co-creation between Thierry Wasser and Delphine Jelk. And this one features notes of almonds, orange tree, white musk. This one seems like it's the most simplistic out of all of them. And whenever I see the word water, it means it's going to be pretty simple, or eau in this case. It's going to be pretty simple. So we shall see. I like the combination of oranges and almonds. It's a very Middle Eastern dessert taste kind of combination. So it seems like it's going to be the simplistic one out of the entire collection, but still very curious. I'm very curious about the whole entire collection. Let's see how it is. Let's see what price point it's going to be, and let's see if they're going to perform and things like that. But as far as fragrances go, I think the most exciting one for me is probably the first one, although the entire collection should be fairly exciting. What do you guys think? Do you like this idea, this collection? Do you have any info on this collection? Let me know. Put a comment down so I can find out. And again, I received an email from one of you saying, can I talk about it? And I don't have my nose on these fragrances, obviously, so I can't really, you know, tell you my honest opinions. But as far as something that's coming out that I'm curious about, definitely always curious about new fragrances. And of course, Guerlain. Sad that these fragrances are being redone. All of these fragrances are being redone. Again, as I said, if you have a sales associate you deal with, call them and see if they can sell these or they have stock, because as I said, I've gone to the websites and I don't see a lot of stock with any of these, and something's going on, and I believe that they are coming out with new versions, new sizes. Again, they said that they're going to be very pricey, multiple sizes or just one size, I can't remember, plus very limited offerings, like they're not going to be sold at a lot of different stores. This is what I was told. I don't know, this story can change, but that's what I know and hear and have heard. This is from my sales associate here at Neiman Marcus. The Guerlain boutique in Las Vegas didn't even know about anything going on with it. Basically, all he said is he's not sure if they're coming back. That's all I heard. Anyway, those are my thoughts today on this L'Art et la Matière collection of fragrances being discontinued and being relaunched. Also, these 4 new fragrances from Guerlain. Let me know what your thoughts are on the entire video. Do you like any fragrances from the L'Art et la Matière collection? Are you a fan of any of them? Put a comment down so I can find out. Also let me know what do you think about the 4 new fragrances that are coming out, and go beyond that. Let me know if you have other favorite Guerlain fragrance. I'd like to find out what it is. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for tuning in today. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.